the coronavirus situation here. So earlier this evening, the Ministry of Health announced 22 new cases, as well as 2 additional deaths from the virus. So that takes Vietnam's case total over 900 and brings the death toll to 20. That's throughout the entire pandemic for the country, which I know for a lot of places, those numbers would be pretty great. But do keep in mind that up until a couple weeks ago, or up until July 25th, we hadn't had any detected community transmission in over 3 months. And since then, we've gone from a 0 death toll to 20 and had well over 400 new cases in the community, mostly in and around Da Nang on the Central Coast. So yeah, the past couple weeks have been concerning and busy here for everybody. But here in Ho Chi Minh City and up in Hanoi, life is largely normal. They've closed bars and restaurants here, as I've talked about before. Same up in Hanoi. A lot of testing has been going on. One concern is it's believed there's a case in Hanoi that no connection to Da Nang has been found. All the recent cases have been connected to Da Nang, either someone who was there or had been in contact with someone who was there. So if it comes to light that a case is unconnected to the city, that will be concerning for everybody, because we don't want to see that. And yeah, if you have any questions about what's going on here in Vietnam, I'm not sure what's going on with my connection. It must be my bad night for Wi-Fi. Yeah, so again, I'm here in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. I'd hoped to do this outside, but the weather has been really nasty all afternoon and evening. Been pretty ugly a lot the last week or two. If you watch my stream from, I think, Friday morning of the flooding, you'll know what I'm talking about. We're kind of getting towards the peak of the monsoon season here, so a lot of afternoons and evenings are pretty unpleasant. But yeah, if anyone has any questions about how Vietnam's responding to this latest coronavirus outbreak or what's going on here, do let me know. It's a little after 7 p.m. on Thursday here. So just to rewind, earlier this evening, the Ministry of Health announced another 22 COVID cases. I believe 5 were imported and quarantined upon arrival, and the remainder were in the community, as well as 2 additional deaths. So that takes the case total over 900 and the death toll to exactly 20. All of the people who have passed away had pre-existing conditions. Most were older, but a couple have been in their 30s or 40s. Obviously, all of these are tragic, but especially when it's somebody that young, that is tough. And especially as prior to this new outbreak, we had been at a 0 death toll throughout the entire pandemic. And here in Ho Chi Minh City, life is pretty normal. Masks are mandatory, although I will say not everyone is wearing them. Also, social distancing is really not being practiced. I think people are confident, hopefully not complacent. Some stores have put down stickers on the floor to make sure people keep their distance when they're in line. But shopping aisles are crowded. You know, if you're out on the street, people aren't really trying to keep their distance or anything like that, which I think partially shows that people believe things are being handled well, but also can be a little concerning at times. And yes, like I said, I'd hope to do this outside, but stuck in the house because of bad weather. We've been getting lots of that recently. So also in Da Nang, they've extended social distancing regulations. Those are serious ones where most of the city is closed. Travel in and out is not allowed. A neighboring province home to Hoi An, which is a popular tourist destination, is also pretty much closed down. Non-essential businesses are shut, and they will be indefinitely. Travel in the rest of the country is normal. You can still fly around or take a bus or drive or whatever. So that's still going, but domestic tourism is taking a pretty big hit. And importantly, the international borders are still closed. So the only people coming in are Vietnamese citizens coming back on special repatriation flights, or special experts or foreign managers that get approval in advance. And when they arrive, they have to quarantine for 14 days. So no foreign tourists, you can't come visit. Um, and it seems that it's going to be that way for the foreseeable future, potentially until there's a vaccine, given how well things have been contained here. They don't want to risk people coming in from infection hot zones or whatever word you want to use. Yeah, if you have any questions about any of this, I'm happy to chat. I know this visually isn't the most exciting since I can't be outside given the weather. But I hope to get back outside for a stream maybe this weekend so people can see what things are looking like now. It is busy outside, even with all this going on. There's have only been, I think, 8 new cases in Ho Chi Minh City since this started. Um, so not bad for a city of 13 million or so. And I think that's probably part of the reason why people are being a little more lax about precautions than they were in, say, March or April when there had been a previous peak here. Yeah, so just reintroducing here in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, on a rainy Thursday evening, a little after 7 p.m. Um, about an hour or so ago, the Ministry of Health did its evening update. They announce cases around 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. each day. So 22 new cases, 5 imported and quarantined, and the rest, so what, 17 in the community, all in central Vietnam, which is where the this outbreak is centered and where the vast majority of new cases have been. Also announced 2 new deaths, so that brings the death toll to 20 in total throughout the entire pandemic, which of course is tragic, but also quite remarkable for a country of this size. Gives a sense of how well things have been managed here. Also, the case total has gone over 900. I think about 450 or so of those are active. There's been a lot of recoveries over the months. So the Ministry of Health or the central government has also warned that to expect more cases in the coming days, including some potentially not linked to Da Nang, which is a little ominous, but it's good that they're preparing people for that possibility. Um, Still intense testing and contact tracing going on anytime there's a new case announced. Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, I believe, are still testing people who went to Da Nang last month. Um, but it's good that tens of thousands of people have been tested, and there's only been a couple hundred or small numbers of new cases that have come out of those, which is a good sign. And also wanted to mention, I'm not sure if anyone has seen on the news any mention of a new strain here that's not quite accurate. Um, the virus, this is explained to me as the virus does mutate as it travels around the world, but that doesn't mean this is a new version or a deadlier version that is new to the world. It just means it is a little bit different from the virus that was here back in March or April when it first came in from mostly visitors or students returning from Europe, made up a lot of those early cases. And I do wish I could walk you guys around outside a little bit right now, but such is life in Vietnam during the southern Vietnam during the wet season, at least. If anyone has any questions, do please ask. I'll do my best to answer. I don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi. So it seems my connection is quite bad, which is frustrating. Not sure why. See if that's any better. So just for any new listeners, I'm in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Inside, unfortunately, because the weather sucks outside. Um, I'm just giving an update on the coronavirus situation here. So earlier this evening, the Ministry of Health announced 22 new cases, five imported, 17 in the community, and also two more deaths, bringing the death total to 20, and the case total over 900. Um, Again, I'm aware that these numbers are pretty incredible for a lot of countries. I think most US states probably have worse numbers than that, but a lot of these have come, all of the deaths have come in the last couple of weeks. Once this new outbreak started, focused on a couple of hospitals in Da Nang. So it was, unfortunately, there's a lot of people who are already sick, already quite ill. All the people who have died have had pre-existing conditions. Most were older, like 60s or 70s, but a few have been in their 30s, 40s, or 50s, which obviously, I mean, you don't want to see anyone die from this, but that is particularly sad. Really struggling to get a good connection here. All right, but I'll try for another minute or two. Again, if you have any questions about how things are going in Vietnam, ongoing response to coronavirus, or what life is like here these days, let me know. Um, there was a question, Hadassah, do I live in Vietnam permanently? I do. I mean, I won't live here forever, but yes. How is COVID treating me so far? I mean, personal health, I've been fine. Knock on wood. I've been lucky about that. So I'm happy to be in Vietnam. I will say that compared to talking to my friends in the States or the UK or elsewhere in the world, things have been a lot more normal here for much longer for the most part. And even with this new outbreak, we still, other than bars and nightclubs being closed, I never know. I never go to nightclubs anyway, so that part doesn't bother me. But restaurants are open. You can go outside freely. It's fairly normal. So being here for COVID-19 has been a blessing, I guess. Hadassah also asked, is the second wave going to be worse than the first? Remains unclear. I mean, in terms of death toll, certainly this is worse because we went from 0 to 20 in the last 2 weeks. Um, it remains to be seen. I mean, they've got a pretty good handle on it, it seems, which is good. Josh asked, how many cases are up by today in Vietnam? So 22 new cases were announced this evening. A small handful were announced this morning. So we've gone over 900 total cases. A lot of that total is imported. Five of the new cases this evening were imported and quarantined, but over 400 cases in the last, since July 25th, have been in community transmission. So, excuse me, community transmission, mostly in the central region, which is a lot for Vietnam by previous standards. Yeah, let me know if there are any other questions. So from seeing pictures and whatnot from Da Nang, life there is definitely not normal, nor is it in a couple of the provinces that border it, where a lot of the cases have been. But again, here in Ho Chi Minh City and up in Hanoi as well, other than some businesses having to close now, life is still fairly normal. Are we in lockdown? No, no, we're not. Da Nang is under lockdown, and the province next to it is largely under lockdown. All non-essential businesses have had to close, but here in Ho Chi Minh City, people are going to work. Schools are out of session right now, so kids aren't in school anyway. Um, but and then as Vietnam closes borders with its neighbors, yes, the borders have been closed since mid-March. They were very early and proactive on that, and they remain closed. So the only people allowed in are Vietnamese being repatriated from abroad. A lot of coming from the countries like the U.S. or parts of Europe, Japan, South Korea, countries like that. So they can get back in, and then also pre-approved experts and foreign managers on certain projects. And Josh, when is the vaccine going to happen? I I can't answer that one. Um, Hadassah says he's in Belgium, and there's a second wave there too. Yeah, it seems like a lot of countries are having that now, which is really unfortunate. It's happening in other parts of Asia as well. Hong Kong has seen more cases. Japan, I don't really know if they would have a second wave, but they're having more cases. Obviously, Australia has kind of blown up in the Melbourne area. Leo asks, Vietnam's border is so long. How do they do it? Well, I mean, they can't completely seal it off, but they close all border checkpoints, which the official points, which is one way. Um, I mean, a lot of the border is pretty rugged, so people wouldn't be going through there too much. And then obviously at the airports, that's easier. They just don't allow incoming flights. Josh, am I a journalist? Yep, I am. Largely freelance. So yeah, freelancer for the most part. I'm just catching up any new viewers 'cause it seems like we're getting more questions. In Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, on Thursday evening, coming up on 7:30 p.m. So earlier, a couple hours ago, the Ministry of Health announced 22 new cases. That takes the country over 900 cases total throughout the entire pandemic, and also two more deaths from the virus, bringing the death toll to 20 exactly. Um, all of those deaths have come in the last 2 weeks. Vietnam had gone the extent of the pandemic without any known deaths from the virus, which is was remarkable and still a low number compared to many countries. But Leah says I'm probably in a better place right now than back home in the U.S. Yeah, absolutely. I I won't disagree with that. I feel sorry for my friends and family in the States that they have had to go through this for so long. A couple people have asked, what are my hobbies? I've gotten into running fairly recently, so do a fair bit of that. Usual uh, reading, watching movies and TV, that sort of stuff. Probably not anything terribly exciting, I guess. I'm also into photography, so try to do that from time to time. More when I travel, but try to get out in Ho Chi Minh City from time to time. Again, when the weather cooperates, which it has not been recently. This is my first time doing a live stream to camera, so this is a bit different for me. Also keep saying I have a poor connection, so sorry about that. But yeah, I'll hang around for a few more minutes if anyone has any other questions about how things are going in Vietnam or Ho Chi Minh City in particular, if anyone's been here. Just giving an update on the coronavirus situation here. I'd hope to do this outside, but it's been raining all afternoon, so I'm gonna stay inside for the evening. Get another outdoor stream at some point, hopefully maybe over the weekend. Leo asked, why did I choose to be in Vietnam? I get this question a lot, obviously. I didn't choose it for any grand reason. I had wanted to live abroad, found a English teaching program here, and knew about Vietnam mostly from Anthony Bourdain's TV shows. Well, if I'm being honest, that's kind of why I came here. And then never had any intention of getting into reporting or anything like that. Don't have a background in it, but that's how it happened these years later. Hadass asks, is it hard being abroad for social life? I mean, not really. I guess it's like being in any other country. Um, I mean, it's harder to keep in touch with people back in the US, but there's lots of other foreigners here. and also plenty of, Vietnamese who speak very good English and all of that sort of stuff. Um, and Ho Chi Minh City is a really big, vibrant city, so there's lots going on here. I'm not single. Some more personal questions tonight. I have a cat and three dogs. Well, me and my fiance do together. But yeah, just to welcome any new viewers here in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Inside, not because of the weather. Just giving a little update on coronavirus situation here, kind of what life is like. Here in the city, it's largely normal. Some places are closed, but we're not under lockdown or anything like that. Da Nang on the Central Coast is locked down. That remains the epicenter of the outbreak here. We've got 20 coronavirus deaths in Vietnam now, over 900 total cases. And the government has said that the next 10 days will be crucial in seeing how this outbreak goes. They said the same thing about the last 10 days, but I mean, every day is crucial, so that's not surprising. So everyone's still kind of in wait and see mode outside of Da Nang, waiting to see if more testing brings back more cases or if this seems to be under control. And if it is, then hopefully we can kind of get back to normal again, just again with the international borders being closed. So no international travel for anyone living here or anyone coming in. And I'm gonna sign off in a minute. This connection is frustrating. I'm not sure why it's so bad tonight. That was a good question. Given the population density, how is it not spread like wildfire? I mean, that's a lot of people have wondered that, but Vietnam took really aggressive action from the get-go, um, cutting off flights from China, then South Korea, then Italy, and eventually the whole world as the pandemic progressed. They introduced centralized quarantine very quick for people coming back into the country. And these were really effective at making sure that it didn't spread too much within the community. Now, there's no telling if something within, if there's something endemic to Vietnam that helped with that, but proactive and early action from the government certainly played a large role. And yeah, I think on that note, I'm gonna sign off. This connection keeps giving me a bad, it says it's poor. So again, that's from Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Next time I'll do a stream from outside, hopefully.